Hi guys, welcome back to the Cinema Couch.
Today we are doing a special episode of Guts.
And we're here with one of the stars of the film, our very own Sarah Shows. And we have the director, Elias, right here Skyping in his little windows here. And we're joined by our special guest, Michael.
Hey guys.
So yeah, so Elias, this was a good movie. Good job, well done.
Thanks very much. Well, couldn't have done it without Sarah, that's for sure.
Aw, shucks.
You wrote this movie? You wrote this film, right?
Yeah, well, my wife Anna and I came up with the story together originally, and I wrote the script and I directed it.
Okay, it was very well done. The only thing that I was a little bit like, what's going on here, was Sarah. So this guy's married to Sarah. This beautiful girl's in his bed with his shirt on all the time, and he's like tired of it. He's like, I don't watch you. Nah. I'm like, he's pushing her away.
I did not give him that question, Elias. I did not give him.
Well, that's okay.
No, I'm watching all the time. I'm like, wow, Sarah's supposed to have you in bed, man. I don't. What's going on? Like, why is this guy? He's tired of his life. Wow, there's a lot of guys that want this life. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're getting a snippet. I mean, it's like that with probably a lot of films. Really, when you see very attractive people in films, but they have real problems, or theoretically they have problems that could be very similar to ours. So just because they look as good as Sarah does doesn't mean that it's any less applicable. I mean, sure, it's I get it.
Oh yeah, but I kid.
I mean, well, also that touches on some interesting things, which are that there's not there's a fair amount that we don't tell you when you step into the world of the movie. There's a fair amount about their relationship, Sarah and Jason, who plays her husband in the film, and the main character. There's a fair amount there that's sort of inferred and not really directly told to you. And I guess the idea is you're supposed to get it from some of the dialogue and sort of the way they work with one another and talk to each other, that they're having marital problems, amongst other things. And that's, that was what we were going for with that.
Yeah, it was very well executed.
I think maybe if he kept his clothes on all the time, maybe.
So you want
we got a lot of best shots of Jason.
Yeah, guys. Because we get a lot of that. Like, it's funny. You get accused of too much male nudity. I always think to myself, is there such a thing as too much male nudity? Really?
Do you remember the one time, remember when they told Jason to turn one way and he ended up turning the other way and the entire crew was like, oh!
Okay, there was a nice pickle shot there. That did not make it. That did not make it into the final edit. It was far too endangering. Yeah, so it's very dangerous. Right now we have very subtle, underlit moments where maybe we can tell a little bit what's going on down there, but that's still as you could imagine. But yeah, I'm sorry for all the guys out there that have had to experience so much male nudity, such an unprecedented amount in American film, because obviously in America we're used to seeing only the women, flashing their naughty tits.
Oh man, I saw Watchmen.
Oh yeah, Watchmen has some male nudity there.
Yeah, okay.
And the red ball.
I saw that too. I remember watching that. That's about all I remember. Not the most memorable. Great book.
Elias,
movie.
Question: What story stands out to you in terms of the making of this film? Like whether it's ridiculous, funny, breaking mirrors, whatever.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of stories. It's there are a lot of stories.
Yes.
I had some recently. I had some interesting ones kind of floating around my head, but I totally forgot what those are at this moment. But on our first day of shooting, we were going to be in a location, our main location, which is the house where the family lives in. We were going to be there for 10 days. And we had 1 day break in between. So we had 5 or 6 days, and then we'd do another 5 days. And, our lead actor, Jason, got sick within 3 days or 2 days. He got sick so fast, it was almost like fated. It felt like very, Murphy's Law-ish. And he got sick. I mean, really, really, really sick. Like, vomiting on the phone to me. I'm not kidding. Like, he called me after, like, day 1 or day 2 and said, not feeling so good. And I was like, he said he can't come in, or maybe he still wanted to. That was the best part. He wanted to come in the next day. He didn't want to quit. He didn't want to call out. But he started vomiting while talking to me on the phone. He vomited like 2-3 times at least. And I'm like, just get off the phone. So we restructure a lot of the way stuff is shot. There are 3 scenes at the dinner table. They're kind of generally pretty low-key and somber, and they sort of progressively get more and more detached between the family, where you just feel Tom getting further and further away from Sarah and Katie, the daughter. And all of those scenes are shot with stand-ins. I even played one of the stand-ins with Sarah playing Tom off camera. Oh, wow. They're all done with stand-ins or readers. They were never intended to be shot that way, but the irony is that for me, since those scenes are a lot about detachment and about that family life kind of crumbling away and really not connecting the way it should, it sort of didn't hurt it. In fact, it might have underscored it in a way we had never intended, because he wasn't there for any of those days when you were there, and vice versa.
Right.
Oh, wow.
As a result of that. Yeah. So that's probably not the most interesting story. There's a lot of other ones. But,
Whose house did you film in? Was it someone you knew?
No. The house was, we paid for the house. We paid for it for about 10 days, or 2 weeks. I think we got it for 2 straight weeks. We paid for it. And it was a death trap of a house.
It was insane.
Really?
I have photos. I can get those to you, Jamal. Of like, I took random photos of just the random crap around that house. That was
careful. Just don't show any names of people that actually own that house.
No. It was just like weird dating books and stuff. Nothing with actual names. But yeah.
I wanted to ask
the person that owns this house is an unusual type. I really have no desire ever to speak with her again.
Oh, wow. Well, I get it from the bathroom tile that she might be a little different.
But there were falling bookcases. There were, there was like an oven that didn't work properly. The knobs just fell off the oven.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Off the flame when you were doing a cooking scene.
Yes,
you were in the house being the cliche domesticated wife, and you were making pasta. That was the joke.
She's making food, everything.
It's like supposed to be something really cool that you're cooking. Something that it's a special thing, and we couldn't come up with anything better. I think we just hadn't planned it out as well as we should have. So you're really just boiling water, and off camera some like a box of macaroni or whatever, but really special, isn't it? So. But we couldn't turn off that stove. Remember that? You couldn't turn it off. You had to use pliers to turn off the stove.
Yes.
And the doors wouldn't lock to the place. They wouldn't lock. There was an alarm, but you could not lock the front door. So all our equipment, all the stuff that we would leave every day, because we weren't going to leave it. We had no other place to put all the gear. It just sat in this house, and there was an alarm, but anyone could have walked right in for the first few days because the doors didn't lock. Yeah. So it was a real, it looks fine. I'm happy with the way it looks, but wow.
Wow.
What did you have to say?
Yeah,
I wanted to ask, like the character John, he in the scene where he left his family.
Tom.
Yeah. During the time, why didn't he tell his wife like what happened? Like at least give him
without giving too much away.
Yeah, without giving too much away. I don't know he didn't want to scare her, but why didn't he tell at least a little bit more and leave her there? Then he's mad that she died, but you left her.
I don't think that he thought that anything would have happened to her. I don't think that he really thought that she would be in danger from his friend. Or directly, I think he was paranoid. He was worried. That is the question. That is always it's a good question why he would do that. But I don't think you would want to tell your wife or your boyfriend or girlfriend about that, because those are what's going on in those movies is who would you want to tell? How would you get past that? I think that's kind of one of the points is that. Once you view something like that, it has an effect on you that's somewhat indelible, and they're already having issues. I think there's a scene right before he leaves, And he takes the car, and the next morning, it's a sunny day. That was the first day of shooting, that scene with this, when they're outside with the kid and they drive off, actually. But there's a scene right before that where they're lying asleep in the bed and they're looking at each other. Only she's asleep. She doesn't see him, but he's lying awake and he's looking at her. And to me, that scene was supposed to be that he wants to tell her, but he just doesn't know how. And that's it. He just never quite comes out with it. And I think people face those kinds of problems a lot, where when something, it's a delicate subject matter, at least, or it's really not, you don't always know how to put something, especially when it's something fairly horrific or immoral. Really, that's the other point. It defines him in a way, and he would have to then create more. He would have to create a story about why he's actually watching these things, or he would have to keep that out. He'd never really be able to tell her the whole truth, could he? Like, how could he really say, well, I enjoy watching this stuff. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but I do it anyway because I'm drawn to it like a moth to the flame. So, I don't know. That's the best I can offer.
Thank you.
Sure.
Do you have any questions, Mike?
You have any questions for Mike?
Man, nothing like being put on the spot after
You just watched the film without giving
okay.
Sure. What's that shirt over there? I'm trying to read your shirt. I can't tell.
Oh, it says Village Idiot, but it's spelled wrong.
That's about right.
Village. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So when he's killing, I don't want to give too much away, but after everything happens near the end, when Tom goes to his buddy's house and they're having the scuffle, I thought it a very interesting choice to put his hands over his mouth and nose,
right,
rather than around the throat. But I wonder how that would actually work in real life, because I feel like he would always have some way to move to get past that.
Well, he's choking on his own blood. You can hear it, actually, and there's a lot of blood because his nose has probably been broken during that fight.
Okay.
And there's probably a lot of blood, my guess is, going into his mouth and throat. It's you're absolutely right. It's not. Perhaps it would be easier to just strangle him, but for whatever reason, when I wrote it and then when we shot it, I still felt like this image was going to be more powerful.
Oh, definitely.
That's why I chose to do it that way. But yeah, you're right. It's probably a little harder, but he does give it the good old college try.
I think it was I think the effect worked really, really well, and I thought it came across well. I just thought it was an interesting choice and a strong choice.
Sure.
But I just was like, the cliche of movies is to always like go for the throat or go for. So I really liked that idea of it, but I just wondered how you kind of came up with that, like what the story behind it was. So.
To come up with it, these are hard questions to answer. How to come up with a number of these things. I think it usually revolves around what is the most unpleasant way to portray something. With those kinds of moments, I think, well, how would it, like you said, how might it have been done somewhere else or frequently before? And what would be a way that I can do this that would make me cringe, would make me feel uncomfortable? And I thought there's something really unnatural and just very wrong about someone choking on their own blood and kind of being restrained in this way. It just seemed like it was worse. So
yeah, I actually got that. Like because after he beat him up, like he's bloody, he's coughing up blood. He's just like, okay, now you can just choke on your blood. I kind of got it.
And it really works well, and it mirrors the tape effect on the women's mouth.
Right.
Which I thought was really good.
All right. Yeah. So that's the question that I want to ask you.
Okay. Sure.
That instrument that the killer is using. What is that? That is a very ruthless looking. What is that? Is that an actual? Is that something you all made? Or is that an actual thing that's used?
It's a real knife. There are 4 of those knives, and I got a hold of them. I just, to be honest, I found them on eBay. I found a series of knives that they were all the same make, only they had different types of blades. And we were at one point considering trying to cast one. I was even talking to some person that said they would have the ability to do this, but that never came through. And this was what I ended up doing. So we used, I think, in the footage, there's only like maybe 2 of the knives that are actually used, I think. They had 4, but there were 2 that really stood out, that were the coolest looking ones. So we used those 2. They're just one piece of metal. There's no extra wood or plastic on the handle, and the handle's just as
It's ruthless.
it's spiraled. It looks really cool. I don't know how practical it is in real life. I have them all still.
Yeah. That blade looks ruthless. Like, I don't want to get cut up by that thing. The little hook. Yeah, the little hook. And it looked like you could like twist it into somebody's body too. Like at one point.
Man. No,
it was ruthless.
I think it'd make a formidable weapon if you need to use one. I was happy to find those. Actually, a number of people have pointed them out. Mm-hmm. I don't really know if we could ever get in trouble for using them because I didn't find the manufacturer outright. Honestly, I really have no idea who makes these knives. They're probably made in China, but they have like a German. I'm not really sure where they come from.
Okay.
So,
good find, man.
Yeah, good find.
They don't get featured too directly, so.
Okay, so tell everybody where they can find Gut, where Gut's available, so anybody watching this can go and get Gut.
Sure. Well, right now, there are in North America, there are a lot of ways you can see it. Yeah, you can download it either for rent or to own on a lot of streaming on demand platforms like iTunes, Amazon Instant Video, Vudu, Cinema Now, which is Best Buy's service, Google Play, YouTube, and Xbox and PS3. There are hopefully plans that it might come to some subscription streaming services soon as well, like Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu, but that's not official yet, and apparently some of those places are getting pretty selective, so I don't know if we're going to get in on all of them or not. Hopefully we will. Okay. It'll be coming to DVD in North America on May 28th. It'll be hitting DVD, and then it'll be available hopefully in retail stores and online at that point. That's it for now. I mean, we're working on foreign stuff, but for North American watchers, that's the status. Yeah.
Okay. We actually do have some. We have some foreign watchers on the Cinema Couch.
Yeah.
We're pretty big in the United Kingdom right now.
Definite foreign watchers. I've gotten messages from Italy and.
We're pretty big on the
That's awesome. That's great. I would love for this movie to be distributed legitimately. Right now, it's illegally available over the world thanks to piracy.
I found that out. Yeah.
That's your bag. I guess you can find it that way. But there are a lot of countries I'd like to see it in. I'm still trying to get Germany, the UK, and Australia right now. I'm pushing really hard to get something in one of those going, but it's very tricky. It's very tricky. No offense to Sarah or anyone else who worked on it, but it is very tricky when the actors aren't as well known, when the players on the film aren't as well known, any of the people, including me. That makes it much harder to get a foreign market to pick you up.
Well, that's what a lot of the reviewers say too about it when they're this is great. Actors were unknown, but they were awesome.
So you just gotta get famous, Sarah.
Working on it.
You got an agent recently, I heard, so you just gotta push that, man. We need you to succeed.
There you go.
As much as any of us.
All for you, Elias.
Of course. If we benefit at all from any of our collective efforts, I think that's always nice.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, I think it's a fantastic film. I think everybody out there needs to go view Gut. Get it right now wherever you can. Thank you so much, Elias. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. This is a real treat, and of course Sarah's always
here. It's good seeing you, Elias.
Yeah.
It's great to see you. It's been my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me on, and I'm really glad you guys enjoyed the film.
Yes.
So, thank you again. I'm glad this worked out.
All right.
Let me know when it goes live. I'll repost it.
Oh yeah, we definitely will.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.
Awesome.
You want to watch it again?